How is everybody doing? Welcome back to another episode of the Banker Next Door. I am your host, Dr. Joe Berquist. Today, we're going to be talking about buy now, pay later products. And I thought that this was a perfect opportunity to get into this because I saw this little comment piece from the Independent Community Bankers Association this week. And I just thought I was going to read this real quick. And then we're going to take a look at the what's called the frequently asked questions that were kind of like, it's kind of hard to call this a report or an article. You'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. We're going to go to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau's website, and I'm going to show you the breakdown here that they have now on buy now, pay later. But let me just read this first tidbit first. So the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau released frequently asked questions to help industry participants understand, implement, and comply with the requirements in Regulation Z for buy now, pay later products. The ICBA in July called on the CFPB to ensure buy now, pay later products adhere to the same consumer error resolution procedures as banks. ICBA said it supports the CFPB position that buy now, pay later digital users' accounts are credit products and should comply with relevant sections of Reg Z, including credit disclosures and billing disputes. Like, in other words, ICBA's position is that they want buy now, pay later to be treated like credit cards or like a credit line. So buy now, pay later products operate in a space where a consumer's main avenue of error resolution is through their community bank, and debit and credit card disputes and chargebacks are at record levels. So previously, the ICBA has consistently called for greater parity between non-bank buy now, pay later providers and more traditional credit products. In a 2022 comment letter, ICBA called on the CFPB to incorporate buy now, pay later products into a regulated ecosystem and provide for consumer disclosures and protections on par with the Truth in Lending Act. So that's kind of what's going on there. But let's get to. Okay, so this is the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, otherwise known as the CFPB. This is their website. This is what they call the frequently asked questions that they've put out there now on buy now, pay later. And so what this says here is it says, the questions and answers below pertain to compliance with Regulation Z, which implements TILA and related to buy now, pay later products. This is a compliance aid issued by the CFPB. The Bureau's published a policy statement on compliance aids available here. So what are the topics here? It goes into general, it goes into pay in for buy now, pay later loans coverage, and then pay in for buy now, pay later loans periodic statements. So in general, so what are, and it's really nice because it has kind of click downs on each one of these things. So it goes into three things under the general category. And it says, what are buy now, pay later products? What are paying for buy now, pay later products? And number three is, what are digital user accounts for paying for buy now, pay later products? So let's take a look at one of this. Let's go to general. Buy now, pay later products are typically loans to consumers that are, one, structured as installment loans in which the consumer incurs debt and has the right to defer payment, and number two, made to consumers for the purchase of personal, family, or household goods and services. Often, buy now, pay later products are advertised as a payment method for retail purchases, particularly on merchant websites. Buy now, pay later products have several common features, but those features may vary in how they are applied to the product. Some features of their variations include interest or other finance charges, other fees, and number of installments. Consumers generally access buy now, pay later products online and often through the mobile applications of buy now, pay later loan providers. They may also be accessible directly through merchant websites. Okay. Now I want to hit on what are paying for buy now, pay later loans. Okay, so for the purpose of these frequently asked questions, the CFPB defines pay in for buy now, pay later loans as loans to consumers made by the buy now, pay later loan provider that are, one, are structured as closed-end installment loans in which the consumer incurs debt and has the right to defer payment. Number 2, are made for the purchase of goods and services for the consumer's personal, family, or household use. And 3, are payable in 4 installments. And 4, do not incur interest or other finance charges. Additionally, when referenced in the frequently asked questions, the CFPB is only referring to the typical pay in 4, buy now, pay later loans accessed through digital user accounts issued by the buy now, pay later loan provider or their agent. So that's interesting. So just so you understand the difference, so you can have a buy now, pay later product, but you also have what's called this pay in 4, buy now, pay later loan, which is 4 payments, 4 installment payments, but they do not incur interest or any other finance charges. And basically, somebody could kind of pay these things. You can pay it off at any time, but it has to be made in 4 payments. Okay. What are digital user accounts? So what are digital user accounts for pay in 4? So as discussed in question 2, pay in 4, buy now, pay later loans discussed in these frequently asked questions are accessed using a consumer's digital user account issued by the pay in 4, buy now, pay later loan provider or their agent. So there you go, pretty straightforward. Okay, and then it gets into and I'm not going to go through each one of these. But one of them basically says, like, pay in 4, buy now, pay later loan coverage. So are pay in 4, buy now, pay later loans subject to Regulation Z? Are buy now, pay later loan providers of pay in 4, buy now, this is killing me saying this. Buy now, pay later loans with covered digital user accounts covered by Reg Z? Which categories of Reg Z provisions apply? And then what specific Reg Z sections are considered card issuer and credit provisions applicable to covered pay in 4, buy now, pay later loans? And then, and then the last thing, so that's coverage. And then it gets into periodic statements. So is a pay in 4, buy now, pay later loan provider required to provide a periodic statement? I think, that's an interesting one. So let's look at this. So the answer is yes, unless an exception applies. Like for each billing cycle that the consumer has a debt or credit card balance of more than $1 for an account, a covered pay in 4, buy now, pay later loan provider is required to mail or deliver a periodic statement for that billing cycle to the consumer. There are some exceptions discussed in the regulations, such as certain circumstances where statement was returned as undeliverable, so on and so forth. But basically, the idea here is that, like, if you take out one of these pay in 4, buy now, pay later loans, they have to issue you a statement, showing activity, loan balance, what's payments that have been made, all that kind of good fun stuff, just as you would have with any other kind of loan or credit card or anything like that. So I think that's good to know. I think that's good information to have. What must be disclosed? Here's kind of interesting. Okay. So in other words, what needs to be in the statement? The previous balance outstanding at the beginning of the billing cycle, the identification of transactions, i.e. the covered pay in 4, buy now, pay later loans that were originated, the credits applied to the account during the billing cycle, any charges imposed, any required change in terms disclosed, the address a consumer may send any notice of billing errors, and the closing date of the billing cycle and the account balance on that date using the format required. So again, I think, good information to know what should be in this. Can a pay in 4, buy now, pay later loan provider include multiple covered pay in 4, buy now, pay later loans on a single periodic statement? I would think yes. Multiple covered pay in 4, buy now, pay later loans made to consumer using the digital user account may be disclosed on the same periodic statement for the consumers. So I guess if you're out there on a couple of websites and you got a couple buy now, pay later loans, but they're maybe issued through the same company, they'll condense those and just put them on one billing statement. So is a covered pay in 4, buy now, pay later loan provider prohibited from treating a payment as late for certain periods? Yes. If the terms of the covered pay in 4, buy now, pay later loan permit a covered buy now, pay later loan provider to treat a payment as late, the buy now, pay later loan provider must also comply with timing requirements in Regulation Z before doing so. So again, I think really good information here on the basically the buy now, pay later products. I think what I would like to do is I want to get in and do an episode where I want to kind of I want to find some more statistics on buy now pay later, and I want to break down those statistics because obviously it's become a multi-billion dollar market. The use of buy now pay later has exploded. I think that we do so much talk. In other words, when we're examining the health of the consumer in the country, there's so much talk about credit card debt and student loans, auto loans, that kind of stuff. I really think that buy now pay later is such a big product that it should be included in that conversation, because I think that there are certain things that you could pull away from. Like, in other words, I always make the connection of looking at not only credit card debt, but also the buy now pay later, because you could see, like, if you look at the savings rate for the consumer, the savings rate's going down to next to nothing, and you're seeing the credit cards explode, but you're also seeing buy now pay later, which would indicate that people are kind of tapped out on their credit cards, and they're tapped out on their savings, and now they're going to buy now pay later as kind of that third tier. And you're seeing, but now that third tier, all those items have kind of exhausted themselves, and now you're seeing credit card delinquency and auto loan delinquency. You're seeing all that stuff, you're seeing all that stuff rise up. So I think that the buy now pay later is kind of a critical part of evaluating the health of the consumer right now, and we should absolutely be looking at that. And I think one of the big questions is, as like what the ICB, the Independent Community Bankers Association, they want the buy now pay later to be treated as a credit product, and they want it to start being reported on people's credit reports, and basically having it showing, like, as, hey, you're borrowing. And I think in the one hand, it makes sense. Like, on the one hand, it doesn't really, I think, make sense if you bought something for $100 and you're making 4 payments of $25. Like, okay, does that really matter? But I think if you're a person, like, if you have taken out thousands of dollars, if you've got $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 outstanding on buy now pay later, then yes, I think that at that point you might get to a point where it's like, or who knows, maybe you got $15,000 or $20,000 out there on buy now pay later. I mean, you start to get to a certain point where, depending on how much you have, it does make a whole lot of sense. So anyway, like I said, if you are using buy now pay later products, I thought this was a great episode just to go, you could go to the CFPB website, you kind of take a look at some of these things out there. If the buy now pay later, lender or app or whoever it is that you're dealing with, maybe if they're not doing some of the things they should be, if they're not providing you with a statement, if they're providing you with a statement that's not covering some of these things, if they're changing terms on you or doing weird things that they shouldn't be doing, if they're charging you interest and fees and other things that they shouldn't be doing, come here, check out the CFPB website, check out this frequently asked questions here on the buy now pay later products. Hopefully you'll get a lot of the great information that you may need or might be looking for. So okay, with that being said, I'll wrap up. If you like this episode, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe, as that always helps the channel. Remember, we are on YouTube, Rumble, and all major podcast platforms. Please be sure to leave your comments down below, as I always love getting back to everybody. I did put a link to the CFPB website in the description below if you need to go check that out. Please make sure to check out some of the other content on the channel. I've put up a lot of great videos on a lot of different banking and financial services and kind of economy, if you will, content. That's the flavor of the channel, if you will. So go check that out, and I will be back to everybody again real soon. Thank you so much.